Special 3-minute video because TikTok wants me to try it, but if it sucks, I'll never do it again. Are you from Finland? Have you ever been to Finland? Or do you know anyone from Finland? If you answered yes to any of those, you're probably a Fed, and you're covering up for the fact that Finland isn't even real. Proto-humans is the idea that in prehistory, human development was a little different than we're aware. Like, we all know about Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, but this theory suggests that there might have been more species that were either wiped out or genetically overwritten by other species. If you've ever been to one of my lives, you might know that this is one of my favorite conspiracy theories because it has so much plausibility for something this far down. So White Star Line, the company that owned the Titanic, had multiple ships in their fleet, like around the same size as the Titanic, because there's a misconception that the Titanic was the largest ship at the time. That's not true. It was very similar in size to a lot of other ships the White Star Line had. Specifically, they had a ship called the Olympia, which was very similar in size and shape to the Titanic. Keep this in mind. So September 1911, 7 months before the Titanic set sail, the Olympic gets in a collision with the Royal Navy warship HMS Hawke. Not only was this a very expensive damaging to the ship, but legal blame was put on White Star Line, so they would have been paying for it out of pocket with no insurance claims. So the proposed theory is that they needed to dispose of it in a way where they could collect the full insured value of a new ship. They did this by switching the Olympic with the Titanic. There's a lot of weird inconsistencies that would support this, like how the managing director inexplicably ordered the entire Titanic to be carpeted over right before it launched, and that all White Star Line ships had their names engraved in the hull, while the Titanic had it riveted over the top. Wreckage scans subtly hint at this as well, and what it actually cost to repair the Olympic for its damages were less than half of the estimates. If this were the case, it would have saved them a lot of money, and JP Morgan, big money mind, had just invested in White Star Line. Just saying. Self-burying hoses is a phenomenon that happened in 1955, where a bunch of hoses apparently sunk into the ground over 20 feet with no scientific reasoning at all. What's a little strange is that this wasn't a one-off event. It happened first in California in 1955 and then happened later in Florida, Minnesota, Kansas, New York, Ontario, and Michigan. Geologists believe that it was a combination of the water pressure and the very thin soil that was around those areas, but they weren't able to replicate it at all, so it's sort of still a mystery why it happened. So this one, in researching it, is pretty vague. It could have a couple definitions, but the biggest one I found is that we are all actually aliens, and that we came down thousands and thousands of years ago, saw the actual humans, wiped them out, and replaced them. Obviously there's no evidence, but you know, it's fun to think about, I guess. If you watched all 3 of those minutes, first of all, thank you. Second of all, we just fired up a Discord, so if you guys want to join, a link will be in the bio, and thank you so much for your support.